All right, let me slide one of my tracks up in there. Let me get it nice and low. Bring my other device up to speed. Honorable admiration to all my good brothers and sisters of the feather. It's going down. It is going down. We got some wild mestizos. We wild aboriginals. We wild Indians. Now we got these wild mestizos. What in the hell is going on? Let me share again before I get on to the other device. Once again, you see it here. Let me pull that all the way down, man. There we go. You see the name Garcia Rodriguez de Montalvo, right? Spanish author. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Adventures of Esplandian. Yeah, man. This is the stuff that people who, like the real Cholo, aka Chahta, this is the stuff he and his cousin Corey Mayo believe. Yep. In due time, I'll be right back with y'all, setting up everything, getting everything in order. Be here for a very short time. My time is short, but it's still my time. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. They're trying to give me a hard time with the devices. Hold on. Honorable admiration, all my good brothers and sisters of the feather. Can I get a one if you can hear me? Can I get a two if there's nothing going on? All right, I'm not getting any notifications in the chat. Let me see. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Chat. There we go. Okay, I see you. I see you up in there. Oh, who's that? Grateful. Okay, you can see on the screen. It is on the screen. So I wanted to deal with something because um, people do not comprehend their own genealogy, right? It is complicated because these are the same people who will tell us what we are while putting us in a position of a Slav, when in turn, that's where his genetics and his lighter pigmentation comes from. So hopefully, I'm gonna send a link out to him. You know, I want to make sure I get everything in first. Let me see. Well, I'll send a link out afterwards. He's going to have to deal with the exposure. So there's going to be a couple of things I'm going to share in these images. So the person name is the Real Chahta, and apparently the Real Chahta is real hurt by the exposure of his people. And you know, I personally do not agree with timelines. I've literally gone through the date dance many times. Anatoly Fomenko pretty much shed the light on it for me in a way more than I had before. Before he shed that light on the stories pertaining to the history and the dating process being pushed back 1,000 years for something that happened 200 years ago. It was Baba Walter Williams who shed the light that gave me the glimpse of what direction and to look for these things. And he was the one explaining to me about fake stories and fake artifacts and things like that, fake decipherment methodologies. I was explaining that the people here that we call Aboriginals are descendants of the greatest people on earth. The only issue I had that he would say Egypt over there, and he would say, don't call it no other name but Egypt. So I look at it now that the name Egypt is originally from here and then made its way over there. Well, the same way that I see and I have discovered that the name Egypt was here first, then Cairo was here first, and the name Memphis was here first, and a whole lot of other stuff pertaining to ancient history and ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, ancient Italy, ancient whatever. So just like those names went that way, according to this story, Mestizos migrating to Europe, this is what it says. Again, I do not agree with everything that I'm going to read. So what I'm going to read does not necessarily represent my views, but it's shedding some light, and I'm going to show the stories that are actually connected. So I had to insert this, just a small introduction. And later on, Chief will have to come defend his name because the Mestizo, he tried to put some slander on it. Man, he tried to put some slander in that burrito. So you have Martín Cortés, son of the Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés, and the Nahuatl Maya, Indigenous Mexican interpreter Malinche. I should whistle the or whatever kind of Mestizo songs that they got going on. So definitely look into that name. It's a very interesting name, and it was angelicized to Marina. Very interesting story for a day coming up soon. It was one of the first documented Mestizos to arrive in Spain. So we're seeing here that the 16 Mestizos situation, and that the people left here, rather it be Central America and the northern parts of the coastal lines of South America and coastal lines of Northern America, that are facing the Pacific, facing the Atlantic, and facing the Caribbean Ocean. So, well, let's just see what the accounts say. Let's see what they are saying and see what evidence they have. So his first trip occurred in 1528 when he accompanied his father, Hernán Cortés. I can't deal with the lines. Hernán Cortés, who sought to have him legitimized by the Pope. There's also verified evidence of the grandchildren of Moctezuma. See, it's very interesting. We got Montezuma, and now we got a Moctezuma. What the hell is going on here? The second Aztec emperor, whose royal descent the Spanish crown acknowledged, willingly have set foot on European soil. Among these descendants are the Counts of Miravalle and the Dukes of Moctezuma de Tultengo. Oh, take two to tango, huh? But we got the Tultengo, who became part of the Spanish peerage and left many descendants in Europe. So we have 16 Mestizos going on, but the 16 Mestizos story doesn't take place for another 200 years. So we are finding the story. This is the reason why this is the reason why I do not agree to dates in this. And this is Wikipedia, aka Trickopedia, with some sections that need additional citation for verification since July 10th. Damn, y'all ain't updated y'all misinformation in 12 years. So we have this. Counts of Miravalle residing in Andalucía, Spain, demanded in 2003 that the government of Mexico recommence payment of the so-called Moctezuma pensions it had canceled in 1934. So I'm finding a lot of discrepancies in the story. We have one source there. Please look into this stuff on your own time for that part. We'll be dealing with that in a minute. All right, let me slide another slide over here. All right, my slide can hurry up. So, Mestizo historian Inca Garcia. Now we got this name Garcia. We got Inca Garcia Lasso de la Vega, son of Spanish conquistador Sebastian Garcilaso. So now they have Garcia, which means bull, and we got this asshole de la Vega. And the Inca princess Isabel Chimpo, it must have been part of some evolution with the Chimpo, Oxlón, arrived in Spain from Peru. He lived in the town of Montilla, Andalucía, when he died in 1616. The Mestizos, children of Francisco Pizarro, the Bizarro, who liked to flay people's skin and cook it like some pork rinds, were also military leaders because of their famous father, starting in the early 19th and throughout the 1980s. Again, early 19th century, that is, and throughout the 1980s. We just skip all that. How are we skipping from the 16th century? Oh, that's because we're dealing with the people when they're making up this stuff. And definitely need to get the receipt on what they canceled in 1934. France and Sweden saw the arrival of hundreds of Chileans, many of whom fled Chile during the dictatorial ready? All right, give me 8 minutes. Cool? You order your food? So we got a dictatorial government of Augusto Pinochet, because he was on some Pinochet. All right, let's see this up. Okay, now this is going to be an insult to their injury, because we have the Order of Santiago. Now, I shared that Montavo is actually Mont for mount or mound, which pertaining to mound, which the word, they added the M to the front of it, and we find it that it's unknown, Ago. Then we see the name Santi Ago. They changed Ago to Avo. Avo meaning valley. And this is called the Orden de Santiago. It's a religious and military order founded in the 12th century. So now they're pushing stuff back. Okay? And they're showing you all this stuff in the 12th century connected to what's happening later, 300 years in the 16th century, but we don't get the Mestizos coming into existence until later. So when we look into the Slav stuff and we're calling people Mongolian and we're saying they're Sicilian and we're seeing Siberian, we need to re-examine this stuff and see what's really been going on. But this is what they're saying from the 12th century. It owes its name to a patron saint in Spain, Santiago, St. James the Greater. Its initial objective was to protect the pilgrims on their way of St. James, to defend Christendom, and to remove the Muslim Moors from the Iberian Peninsula. So we have a people called the 16 Mestizos, which we don't get until 1755, and we don't get their first generation until 1777, being pushed back as if they were the ones sent to the Iberian Peninsula to rid the Moors. But when you look into the details of the story, the Moors are the ones who are taking Mestizos from place to place, and that's not taking place again until the 18th century. The interest was not, however, restricted to the nobility of Spain exclusively, and many members have been prominent Catholic Europeans in general. The order's insignia, in particular, reconcilable and abundant in Western art. So we go look into Western art, you're going to see stuff, and you're going to think that this stuff is from the 12th century that was talked about in the 16th century, but actually it's from the 18th century. All right. The main ideology advocates that mestizaje, just like the Ordóñez, we're finding these certain words where we can really connect them. So when it comes to those stories, when it comes to the people who are really putting it together, we have Jose Vasconcelos, 1882, 1959, the Mexican Minister of Education in the 1920s. The term was in circulation in Mexico in the late 19th century, along with similar terms. Cruzamiento means crossing, and mestizaje. They threw some French in there. Mestizaje. They got the CI. Okay, process of mestizoizing. In Spanish America, the colonial era system of casta sought to differentiate between individuals and groups on the basis of a hierarchy, classification by ancestry, skin color, and status, the calidad. Again, the status is called calidad, giving separate labels to the perceived categorical differences and privileges, privileging whiteness. In contrast, the idea of modern mestizaje is the positive unity of nations' citizenry to become a citizen based on racial mixture. Mestizaje placed greater emphasis than the casta system on commonality and hybridity to engineer order and unity. What you're seeing here is the human zoo. Now, when I interject my opinion, which means it becomes subject, I will say that this is actually taking place in 1882. This is taking place in this person's life. This is what this person is seeing as a child. They want to interject into the past because we saw yesterday that's just what they do. They'll say, hey, somebody wrote it in 1865. Well, can we get the original where he wrote it from? No, we don't got that. All right, cool. So mestizaje placed greater emphasis than the casta system on commonality and hybridity to engineer order and unity. It operated within the context of the nation state and sought to derive meaning from Latin America's own internal experiences rather than the dictates and necessities of empire. Ultimately, it embraced racial mixture. So that's why we got the name Mexico in that area. All right, so I'm gonna slide the link. All right, man, they done kicked me out. All right, it's 3 o'clock. Yeah, and I told them there are 2 places I have to go to. Mic check. It's picking me up here now. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna have to switch over. Y'all probably got an echo. Slight echo. Y'all can barely hear me. So let me slide back on some jams. My check might get a little shaky. Y'all give me a second. Hey, how you doing? All right. All right, let me hop in my all-American vehicle. All right. Damn, I don't even know if y'all can hear me. Okay, there you go, Chief. I sent you the link, Chief. All right, y'all gotta turn my Bluetooth on, y'all. Hold on one second. All right, mic check 1 2 1 2. All right. So unfortunately, the letters are way too small, so I definitely will not be able to read that. Okay. Now y'all can hear me a whole lot better. If y'all can hear me, let me get a one if y'all can hear me. All right, all's good. That's what I like to hear. Okay, so basically, what you will see here is all the different types of mestizos. Like there's a different mestizo for a different country because this is supposedly where the mestizos spread out to. So there's a whole lot of stuff that we basically need to re-examine when we're dealing with these people because we don't know if somebody went there, started mixing, and then came back, or if they only mixed with each other and then came back. It's so much stuff in the air that we have to look into. But when we deal with these mestizos, there's an ultimate way that you can deal with them and you can end the discussion. You can say, "Who is your father?" Here goes an example. I'm start doing this a lot. Corey Mayo, who's your daddy? Does your dad look like this? Or let me load it up. Ah, hurry up and load up. Like, is that what your father looks like? Um, the real Chahta or Air Tonto who was on Corey Mayo's channel the other day? Can you show that this is what your father looked like? Can you show that? Let me see. Remember, can you show this? Like can we get some evidence? Or is this what your father looks like? Is this what your great great grandparent looks like? Huh? Old Widow Peak Buster from the tippy canoe. Like what's going on here? So the real Choctaw, we want to know: are you the mestizo that returned back to America? Are you the mestizo that didn't leave and then started migrating north? You know what I'm saying? These are just a couple of questions for historical purposes. Because I'm trying to get down to the bottom of this, seeing the stuff that I just read here and there and there and there. There's something funny going on. Trying to get down to the bottom of it. Oh boy. All right. So I wasn't expecting for my schedule to be this way. So y'all bear with me. Schedule had a little couple of twists and turns. Um, but anyway, here now. So the real Choctaw, you definitely welcome to come explain your story. That we're finding that y'all had some issues and we're getting punked by the Moors. And and that y'all are just, some upset orphan babies, aka 16 mestizos, and y'all are mad. I'm gonna start revealing some stuff. That there were 12 mestizo groups, that the most melanated of these mestizo groups have been portrayed in one of the biggest fabrications in America, which is called the 12 chart. Yep, that 12 Hebrew chart. Man, that's just 12 of them damn mestizos. So, God, are you serious? And people can't drive. So basically, those 4 mestizo groups, who apparently were not that delightful, not that intelligent, didn't really have much going for themselves, obviously would not have been taken outside of America. So I want to know, are you a part of those 4 mestizo groups? Or are you part of the 12 mestizo groups? Are you part of the 12 mestizo groups that traveled to Europe and then mixed with the nasty things that were mestizoed out up there? How many mestizos are there? Do you understand why you are a mestizo? And is there a separation between mestizo and Slav? These are really the only questions I have, because I know you cannot say that you are the first American, that you are the Aboriginal American, that you are the autochton of this country, that you are indigenous from this country, that you sprung up from the soil, that you are the people of the mountain, you are the people of the mounds. I don't find you under any of these categories. So we want to know. If you cannot substantiate any of these things, then you have to stay in your place. You stay in your place as entertainment for us. That's all you can be. There's nothing you can teach us. There's nothing that you're going to learn from us that you will appreciate, because you're going to always point back to the lesser, the degenerate form of the making of the 16 mestizos. So you're not going to go with the original inhabitants. The reason why the 16 mestizos were able to exist was because they had our genetics. Now, I can interject the subjective statement that it is said that your people, since you want to be the Blanco of the Tonto, had issues making children and that they needed help. Now, that's just my subjective statement to it. So we get goony looking people like Lucile, who created the image, this image right here, for California. So you and your people can create names like Navajo, Hopi, whatever the hell, Shoshone, Gabriano, bums. No, I'm just playing. Nah, but seriously though, when it comes to the history of Mexico, California, Arizona, Texas, being that those are supposedly borders that around each other, and it comes to the people, do we have a mestizo situation? What is going on with this mestizo stuff? Now, I being king of the mestizo, I can only speak on the issue of my subjects today. But how I got all these damn degenerate ass subjects, gotta deal with these wild mestizos. So we gotta deal with the wild mestizos. Wild mestizos, you can't ride with the wild Indians. You can't ride with the wild Aboriginals. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna admit that the progenitor of America are fully melanated? All the skulls are Aboriginal and they're not mestizo? And you're just gonna have to say, damn, you're gonna have to admit it. Just be honest. Hey, what are you mixed with? And I don't know if you're being honest because you'll say, oh, yeah, I'm Polish. Oh, yeah, I'm German. Oh, yeah, I'm French. So you're mixed with Mestizo. You're a Mestizo mixed with the other Mestizo. And all these stories we have, these Native American stories, from Florida to here, from Florida to New York, Maine, to hell, from Florida to them damn Mesties. Them damn Mesties up there in Canada. These Inuits, these ice cave people. You know what I'm saying? We got Turtle Gang, who, that maybe Turtle Gang is your cousin. I don't know. Maybe some of my degenerate people are your cousin. Who knows? Maybe y'all rode that ice wall. Like Turtle Gang said, his people lived on ice for thousands of years. Barefoot, you know what I mean? With a couple of animal skin and all that stuff. So we just want to get some clarity because we know. Oh, where my image at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Let me see. We know that while y'all were going through hell and trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, what was going on with your Mestizo burritos and the Tosquitos and tortillas and carne asada with a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, pez picante sauce and all that was going on, all the mixing and stuff. And we had it going on. We had that. We had that. We had that. We had that too. We had this. And we had that. So the original American, the Aboriginal American, is doing this. What were y'all doing? What's the real deal? But that's all I really have for the real Choctaw. The Choctaw sees that I have Mestizo ancestry. So he'll say to me, oh, you one of the real ones. Now, see, that's what happens with Turtle Gang. And that's what happens with other people who got some Mestizo ancestry. You're going to use your mixed ancestor in their fabricated story to substantiate a position that you could put yourself with these Mestizos and they will accept you. Well, no, Mr. Mestizo. In my statement, you see, this is my Siberian ancestor. Now, the whole story on Mestizo going over there and missing and doing all this stuff and the original people being melanated, not even talking about that. We're just talking about this real Choctaw and how the hell we got Choctaw Paleface trying to say that he's the real person from this area, like he's a part of the mound building civilization. But when we look up the mound builders, pure melanation. So you fall short in that melanation. So we had all this stuff going on. And while we have all this going on, the damn Mestizos that went over there to Europe go through a catastrophic event, mud floods, earthquakes, stars falling out the sky. It was like Revelation times during the 1860s, according to accounts that's considered empirical data. All that goes on, Europe is destroyed. Good portions of the best country on planet Earth is also destroyed, which is called America, by the way. So, just wanted to shed some light on this information with the real Choctaw. That what history do you really have? Can you really show that your people were a part of these things? Because when I look at this list of our great achievements that we were doing in 1870s, 1870 to 1900, while people are scattering, while people are making fabricated Tartar stories, while the Burlesque degree are running around with circuses and creating world fairs, tourist attractions. Who were the people with them? When they had people put on this regalia and dance around in the world fairs, calling themselves Indians, was that you? Was that your people doing that? Because while the world fairs are going on and they're trying to say that we were savage over here, we had all this. We had all that. And again, yeah, let's see it again. Get this book, y'all. Anytime someone starts talking out that Mestizo nonsense, you can always go back to the book. Boom. Like, wait a minute, man. We were so dope and we had so much stuff going on. We were the main event. We were the main attraction. Come over here and you can see the real deal. You can get the real McCoy. You can see the inventors and the innovators. There's no Mestizo inventors and innovators. There's no addition to society, civilization, ways of living, moving on, innovating some type of or doing some tinkering. You won't find that. Hell, when you deal with the Spanish language, they don't even have their own letters. They have to borrow diacritical marks and borrow from what they'll call English character. Where's the Spanish characters? Where are the Spanish symbols? What's really going on? Why are y'all speaking the form of Spanish or Esperanza, or I'm not even going to, I don't even want people knowing I know all that shit. So basically, we find you in disposition in this conversation. So there's no room for debate about who was here first. We see, man, I will burn your shit, man. We see that the civilization builders kept on building. We never stopped. But when it comes to your story, it's connected to Esclave, it's connected to Encomiendero, Encomienda, it's connected to being a Slav in Europe, being the creation of the Slavs, being the Mestizos, being mistreated and then used to run all. It's ridiculous with the stories because the dates, 12th century to 16th century, and then it doesn't make sense until the 19th century. When were your people created? See, I got some mixed ancestry, but I can show, you know what I'm saying, my melanated ancestors. I can show my least melanated ancestors, and I'm honest and genuine about it. But when we deal with this, with you and your Mestizo kind, the ones who have, we can't call it white supremacy. These people think they have Mestizo supremacy. They really do. Well, in history, they're not documented doing anything. Not doing a damn thing. And when it comes to gatekeepers, it's the people like the real Chahta and his group of people who are making sure you do not get all the details to the information. They're not telling a paleface, you cannot build on that area because that area is 10 million years old and there's some stuff a mile down in the ground connected to some ancient stuff. But when you come to the Aboriginal community, we're talking about that. We're showing details and articles of scientists and people discovering it today. Y'all don't know anything about it. When I ask a Navajo, can you tell me about the petrified giants, the petrified forest? Can you tell me about the Great Basin? Can you tell me about the Smoky Mountains, the Appalachian Mountains? Okay, I'm Navajo. I only know this period. Oh, cool. Well, can you tell me about downtown New Mexico? Can you tell me about the state capitals in all states in this area that your people live in? They have no explanation. They know nothing about the stratigraphy. They have no idea about building, chemistry, physics. They have no knowledge of these things. They don't know about the ruins in the mountains. They don't know what the petroglyphs really mean. They don't know shit. They don't know what any of the Mayan, Aztec, Inca, Toltec civilization symbols really stand for. They don't know anything. So who the hell are y'all? That's what I'm trying to get down to the bottom of it, because I'm seeing in the story of California that anything melanated has been removed from the story. Any source, I don't know if it was removed or
incinerated or what happened to the story. I'm finding a lot of discrepancies in it. And then you have these other mestizos who are gatekeeping on languages and stopping you from getting all the details to how to break down these languages and show the connection. Why are y'all blocking? Y'all will try and make it seem like Spanish is its own individual word and that it has its own etymologies and this, that, and the third. But then when we deal with it, you're going to say it's Latin and you're going to point to the Pope. But when we dig into it, we find this from here. You got mestizos who up there call themselves Iroquois, who are making sure you don't dig in their dictionary and pull all the words out. I have found hundreds of words in the Iroquois dictionary that are direct connections to Latin, Spanish, English, German, Polish, Swedish, and Catalan, and Italiano. That all these languages are the same. Whenever you look up these etymologies and these words are perfect matches, don't you find that suspicious? So man, y'all gonna have to build something. Can y'all build a stone teepee? Can you build a teepee out of stone? Don't show us these long houses, these wooden fart holders. Don't show us man, traffic sucks. Okay. All right. So basically, um they're gatekeeping and they're making their history seem like it was barbaric, pagan, uncivilized. So then you attach yourself to the name and you're attaching yourself to that history. So then the real Chahta come out and say, why are you trying to attach yourself to my uncivilized history? When you look at us, when we stand stones, you get a tartar building. When they stand stones, you get a pile of rocks. It's crazy and critical to the understanding of our people, to knowing that our greatness lies here. That these mestizos are not it. The real Chahta, yeah, he calls himself the real Chahta because that's going to tie into that story. But he can't say he's the aboriginal Chahta. He can't say he's the aboriginal of that area. But I just wanted to be go that way. All right. So I just wanted to get that out of the way with the real Chahta because he made a statement to say that basically because this is my complexion and my Siberian ancestor, Siberian mestizo, whatever, this shit is up for debate. It really is. Um, he sees that picture and it has that mestizo face and has things that he can relate to. And I'm trying to explain to him that no, that's the foreigner or the returnee, the mestizo returnee. So again, man, our greatness lies in many states. Our information is not that difficult to obtain, and we don't really have to explain ourselves to these mestizos who want everything to be, who wants to go along with the Pale agenda. They want mestizo supremacy. That's what it really is. It's called mestizo supremacy. Mestizo, was it mestizo? Goddamn muchacho or some shit. Whatever the fuck. Mestizo person who wants his people to be a supreme people, and you're not. So you the real burrito, taco, supreme, enchilada with a whole lot of green sauce. All right, all right. So, Chief, man, I was hoping you was gonna hop in soon. What the hell? That's your peoples. Pomona. So, you know what I'm saying? We got these real Choctaws gatekeeping, and people will take them serious, and people who share that same opinion serious when it's really a matter of digging into the history. Just like the Wikipedia articles that are saying the things that they're saying, they will use that. And that history will be spread around. So they'll hold their chest up on air. We were the ones who were taken from America to Europe to run the Moors out. They're going to have that in their head that they did that in the 12th century to the 15th century. That's what they're going to have in their head. Then they're going to have in their head that we were expelled. But then when you read the Christopher Columbus story, it's going to say that a third of the people on the boat were Africans. Were they Africans? Did all the people in the groups of mestizos, were they all mixed? There's so many holes and there's so many details that are not detailed in these stories. It's sad, and no empirical data exists for those, except for when it comes to the early 20th century and 19th century. So for all I know, 1755 could have happened in 1855. Like I mentioned yesterday. For all I know, this stuff these are recent events. It's not that difficult. I mean, I myself, from the age of I'll say 13 to 20. From 13 to 20, man, I could have got 5 women pregnant every single day. By the time that baby finally comes out, and I'm impregnating 5 different women every day. Do you know how many children I would have in 1 year? People don't understand that. So definitely look up Pasha, Mule, Ishmael, Bay. Look them up. Look these people up. Story may be connected to a fabricated, candid story, and then you'll see the story of the Moors mentioned in there as well. And when you read that story, it's going to tell you that the Moors were the ones taking people on boat to different countries. That they were the pirates until the times of Casablanca. You're gonna see these stories. You're gonna see stories of W.E.B. Du Bois going to Paris to show that we had it going on. Showing this. This is what he was showing. So who printed out the stuff? Who was really printing out stuff and putting things out in this form? Don't get me started on the books. You will not find us making books, but you will find us making posters, broadside pamphlets, advertisement. So it's like, I want to see what a Mestizo was doing from 1870 to 1900. Y'all running around. Y'all left. Y'all hopped on the good boat Jesus, or we call it good boat Jesus. And I forgot how to say boat in Spanish. Well, the giant taco on the agua took y'all asses to Europe, and y'all didn't do a damn thing like we did over here. After the reset, we started rebuilding immediately. Man, there's so much stuff. So there's so much to this. Where's my Indiana colony information? Man, I'm gonna have to break this out and bust out and go live again in a minute. Do a part 2 of this. So I'm gonna have to run around, do some things. So I'm definitely gonna have to do a part 2 of this and explain the details of the Indiana colony. Go into the name again. Let me hop out, play some jams, take a little break, and show some things pertaining to the names of the areas like Indiana Territory. And the name that pops in, if anybody has some information on this, please leave it in a comment. Shit. Please leave a comment about it. Of this. All right, let me throw my jammy jam up in there. Bam. Oh yeah, y'all didn't know I had this one, did y'all? Yep. It's one of them books I've been reading for a while. That's right.